Hello once again, I'm Patrick, your neighborhood-friendly fingerstyle guitarist, and as cheesy as that sounds, I'm back after a much-needed break to talk about a topic that I don't think gets covered quite enough, and that is how to stay creative as a solo guitarist. Solo guitar is an art form, a truly unique art form, whether you're a singer-songwriter, jazz player, or classical player. And I think the niche starts to get a little narrowed down when you're talking about fingerstyle, because as we know, us fingerstyle players are a rare breed. We're constantly employing these crazy techniques, different tunings, and effects. And it can be exciting when you learn that stuff for the first time and learn how to win an audience over. However, what I notice about this particular genre of music is that fingerstyle players tend to fall into a trap, and that is being stuck in the rut of repeating one's ideas far too often. And while you certainly can do that in any genre of music, I think it's a little more difficult in fingerstyle simply because of the limitations of being one person with only one instrument. So the question is how to get out of this rut, and it can be daunting, but fear not, Chicken Little, because you are special, right? Well, strap on that seatbelt, because all you need to really know are some just very simple ideas on how to challenge your comfort zone and get out of that mediocre slump. And we can always start talking about what musicians and artists usually like to talk about as far as just listening to different styles of music. Don't just listen to guitar music, they say. We've all heard that a zillion times, right? Well, no crap. And while that's certainly solid advice, it can certainly leave you bewildered as to what to do with that information. Like, where do I start? So rather than go down that rabbit hole, I'd rather talk about something just a slightly different. So when I say get out of your comfort zone, what I'm really talking about is how one approaches music in terms of unpredictability and how to keep an audience on their toes no matter what style you play. So right now I'm going to go through 9 different ideas that challenge any player sonically, rhythmically, and musically. Stuff that I stumbled up on that inspired me, and I hope it will inspire you as well. Number 1, dynamics. Now there's so much to this concept, but the one thing that most players miss out on a regular basis is playing softly. And I think that's mainly because the guitar over the years has become known for being this macho instrument. Thus, the more loud you play, the more manly you look, right? Well, that might be good for being a chick magnet, but it's not always good for your music. Loud is proud, but quiet is majestic. Can you make a guitar whisper as much as you can make it sing? Number 2, groove. As a rhythmic fingerstyle player myself, I'm constantly asking myself the question, is the groove all the same, or am I letting it breathe? There are different ways to change up the groove of your songs, whether you're playing a straight ahead rock feel, or swinging the notes, or experimenting with displacements, displacing the beat different places, ahead, in front of, or behind the rhythm, so you can change up that feel and make the groove feel more human and make it feel fresh. Number 3, different time signatures. Now, you might have known this was coming, but it's worth mentioning because it's something truly unique in fingerstyle, although not completely. By changing up the 4/4 time signature into something different, it keeps things fresh and it gives the listener something different to digest. Kind of almost like, for instance, playing the jazz classic, take 5 and 5/4. Interrupting predictable patterns. Now, this doesn't work on just any song, but when it does happen, it throws the listener off in a very exciting way. Just when they think they've predicted the ending, you completely jolt them into another realm. 5, alternate tunings. This one's the most obvious one, isn't it? I mean, come on. But it is important. There are 2 ways you can approach alternate tunings: as a creative tool or a crutch. And by that I mean you shouldn't let any alternate tuning dictate what you play. After all, standard tuning in and of itself is an alternate tuning, but that's kind of the standard. So any tuning apart from that, you don't want to fall into the same trap of playing the same chords over and over again, which I'll admit I've done myself. We all do it. But a great example of someone who has beaten this is Pierre Bensoussan, the famous French fingerstyle player that has used one tuning his entire career, and that's Dad Gad. But you would never know it because he uses endless harmonic sensibilities and chord possibilities within that tuning. So, go Pierre! That was cheesy. Number 6, writing on different instruments. To me, this is key in being creative. All you have to do to shake things up is maybe try writing on another instrument. Piano, a bass, maybe some even drums. But for me, what I do is I have a special kind of instrument that I use that I like to write on a lot, and that is my 10-string Santucci treble bass guitars. These are near and dear to my heart because they're so unique, and I got them when I was much younger, but I've kept them through the years, and I always try to write things on them, and when I take it back to the acoustic, it sounds fresh. You can do this on piano, like I said, or any instrument. In fact, one of my favorite jazz players, Pat Metheny, does just that. He writes everything on piano. He never writes on guitar. Number 7, effects. Well, of course, right? What would you do without effects? And I think it's very important to maintain, for the most part, most of your songs, in my opinion, should be the natural guitar tone with just a little touch of reverb for most songs. To me, this is what makes up fingerstyle. But there's nothing wrong with throwing some huge effect in there every now and then, maybe every 5th song or so, to change things up. And that can also give you some very good ideas, song ideas, in the future too. Number 8, tone. As we all know, there are many different ways to extract all kinds of tones out of an acoustic guitar. There are percussive effects, string effects. You can use your flesh, you can use a pick, you can use a thumb pick, you can use a flat pick. The point is, you can use a combination of all these things, and you don't have to do an either or. Just ask Tommy Emmanuel. Lastly, number 9, the concept of what if. This is a concept that I've thought about a lot through the years, and it's simply asking yourself the question, what if? What if I tried this? What if I tried that? Just think of 2 concepts, 2 ideas that don't go together, and then try to make them work. For example, what if you created an ambient folk song? What would that sound like? Would it sound good? I don't know. What if you tried the Chet Atkins thumb picking style in 7/8 time, in his 7/8 time signature? Would it sound good? Well, if you wanted it bad enough, I bet you could find a way to make it work. The point is, you don't know until you try, and asking yourself the question, what if, is a great way to brainstorm and throw ideas out at random. Even if the ideas sound utterly ridiculous, you're going to eventually stumble onto something that's unique. I'm surprised to see, after all these years, you've got all these musicians that are stuck in their ways and never bothered to ask themselves this question ever again. Asking yourself, what if, is a great way to unlock these little gold nuggets that you might have otherwise overlooked. What if you wrote a fingerstyle guitar piece and at the end of it you had an unexpected ending that involved a mellotron pedal? Would it sound good? Would it work? There's only one way to find out. If you want to keep the momentum going for these types of topics, please hit the subscribe button below, and then all you have to do after that is simply wait for the next video. Pretty simple? I think so. We'll see you next time. Peace.